Ever wonder why a baker's dozen means 13 instead of the usual 12? This quirky numerical oddity isn't just some random baking tradition. It actually dates back to medieval England. Medieval England had a very strict legal system where bakers had to get creative to avoid some pretty harsh penalties. Let's dive into the fascinating history behind the 13th donut. In medieval England, bread wasn't just food. It was essential for survival. So important, in fact, that the government strictly regulated its production and sale. In medieval England, there were laws that related the price of bread to the price of the wheat used to make it. These regulations were no joke. They were designed to prevent price gouging and ensure people could actually afford their daily bread. The law essentially set standards for bread weights and prices, which meant that during high wheat price times or times of grain shortages, that the bakers couldn't shortchange their customers. And here's where things get a bit dark. Bakers who were found to be cheating their customers by offering overpriced but undersized loaves were subject to strict punishment, which could include fines or it could include a physical flogging. So what's a medieval baker to do? Making perfectly consistent bread was actually incredibly difficult with the technology of the time. Even with careful planning, it's difficult to ensure that all of your baked goods come out the exact same size. There could be fluctuations due to air content, rising, baking. Many of these bakers didn't even have a scale to weigh the dough. Imagine trying to make identical loaves to avoid being flogged without modern measuring tools, temperature-controlled ovens, or even consistent ingredients. Even the most skilled baker could occasionally produce an underweight loaf. And so this is where the baker's dozen comes into play. For fear of accidentally coming up short, they would throw in a bit extra to make sure that there wouldn't be a surprise flogging later on. It was essentially medieval insurance against physical punishment. Some bakers were so concerned about meeting the weight requirements that they even threw in an extra, making a baker's dozen 14. Now, this additional piece of bread actually does have a name, and it's called the vantage loaf. Today, the term baker's dozen has been firmly established in our language as meaning 13 items instead of 12. It's no wonder that we often buy things by the dozen or half dozen, but if you want a baker's dozen, it's 13. And while most modern bakeries, actually I would really hope really all of them, no longer need to worry about medieval flogging punishments, some of them do still add in that extra donut or biscuit or whatever it is as a customer service gesture to kind of keep the tradition alive. Now you might wonder why a dozen even became the standard unit for selling items in the first place, and it turns out that 12 is just a highly practical number. 12 has been used across many civilizations for thousands of years. It's a highly composite number, which means that it can be evenly divided by a lot of smaller numbers. 12 can be divided up into 2, 3, 4, or 6, and the easy divisibility makes it a good number for measurement. 12 inches to a foot, 12 months in a year, 2 times 12 hours in a day, and 5 times 12 minutes in an hour. Number 12 appears throughout our measuring system and calendars, and it's just a natural quantity for selling goods. Now that brings me to the end of this fun fact video. Comment below on your thoughts. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.